Alrighty, folks, should you summon on this pretty darn crazy special ancient summoning banner 15x on Ingrid, aka Debbie, right behind me, and also on Thallen? We've got two heroes that have dual faction membership in Arbiter. Thallen is Esotericist in Arbiter. And then, of course, Ingrid is our new ancient exclusive Watcher Lord and also a normal member of the Arbiter faction. Let's get right into it. No time for an intro. How the heck are you, everybody? I am Fastidious. This is Should You Summon, our second Should You Summon of the week, and it's specifically for this ancient summoning banner. Believe it or not, guys, believe it or not, it is now Friday night. That means the banner's coming out tomorrow. When you guys see this, the banner will be coming out in like 12 hours. I still have not seen her video. I've been patiently waiting for this video for my honest reaction to it. Let's do it right now. I heard it's a lot of fun. Let us go. Let us see. I'll try to yap a little because obviously I'm going to have the sound off. Holy crap, we're in outer space. The solar flare, the stellar flare, it makes sense. Sorry, I think my graphics are a little low right now to make sure for good filming. Holy crap, that's amazing. She just generated out of sky dust. Oh my god. Okay. This is why people are like, Fastidious, you need to watch it. That's why. And then I will say, Mortar Mike said the Sharon Stone moment when she crosses her legs. I see it. Apologies for the low graphic quality, but holy crap. Holy crap. I'm going to be honest, guys. If you are a content creator and you want a cinematic for your intro, it's not going to get better than that. Wow. Dang. Maybe I need to mix it up and make a new. That is incredible. Oh my god. A lot of stuff happening there. She apparates, is that the word? Is that the Harry Potter word? She forms out of sky dust. She gets it all going on. She walks. You see an absolute beautiful tush. But first, guys, if you are once again looking to get your pay to win on and do a little spending this weekend, it's probably best to save some money and get some free bonus rewards while you do so. This video is sponsored by Smile One, the official third-party payment platform for Watcher of Realms. They offer long-term 10% discounts on all W Gold purchases, and on top of that, they are running a special top-up event from July 26th to July 29th. These Smile One deals are currently only available in the following regions: Russia, the United States, the EU, Indonesia, the Philippines, Taiwan, Korea, and Hong Kong. As always, guys, I am not telling you to spend. What I am saying is, if you are already planning to do so, use my link to save money with discounted rates and get bonus top-up rewards for free. And of course, by using my link, you will be supporting me while doing so. So, be sure to use my exclusive link in the description of this video and the top pinned comment. Thank you, Smile One, for sponsoring this video. And then next thing you know it, she's sitting, crossing her legs, sitting on her throne, which I know is a contentious topic. People are saying they don't like that she's sitting. You know, the other Watcher Lord, Leia, she's sitting. No one's ever complained about that. I think she looks really beautiful and cool. I think this looks really badass. People have compared it to, someone saying she's not Dr. X, she's not Dr. Xavier from X-Men, but why not make her in that model? Like, he's an extremely cool, badass kind of character in this kind of fantasy, I guess that's comic booky lore. I don't mind that she's similar to that. She looks super cool. All right, let's actually just talk about her kit while we're here. Then we'll move over to Thallen. Then I will kind of give my answer if you should summon, because that is the point of this video. Without getting so deep in the nitty gritty, because on Sunday, so this video will come out Friday night. On Sunday, I will have my proper guide and showcase of Ingrid coming out. You have my word. Look forward to that. I've got plenty of time Sunday. It is coming. I have already started. But she's got a very cool kit. She is our first ever like manually controlled hybrid DPS hero. So that might sound like a lot of weird words thrown together, but you can think of someone like Falcia, right? Where she can do her hits and it's like a flurry of magic damage and physical damage. That kind of felt like a hybrid hero, but there's no control over it. And at the end of the day, she's just like a burst fighter, single target hero. And the core of her kit is that. Ingrid is strictly a hybrid hero in that she has like two forms and two ways of acting. Sure, it is all magic damage, but she can exist in solar mode or in stellar mode. So solar mode is going to be like AoE Ingrid, which quite frankly is probably the single best, even at A0, the single best AoE mage in the entire game, full stop. The damage is crazy. Basically, when she's in this solar mode, she's infused with the might of the sun. excels in dealing large amounts of damage to large amounts of enemies, right? So the way it works is it's like on a 5 attack cycle. So every 4 basic attacks, the one after that, the 5th basic attack, will result in a solar flare. If you guys have not seen it, I suggest War Guides is a cool video. Go check it out. When she does those solar flares, it's like this big blast of like orange red light in front of her, and it's endless. It is the length of the map. If you see this range over here, guys, she is using this range when she is in the solar mode. She goes back to like a typical kind of not straight line range when she's in her single target stellar mode, but when she is in her solar mode, she's kind of like Dahlia, and then when she does these solar flares, the range on this is endless. It's a straight line. You can shoot it straight through. It is a ton of damage. So basically 4 normal basic attacks, and then the 5th one every time will be 270% AoE damage, up to 15 enemies in a wide range in front. When she does do that, it goes to be like 3 columns wide, so it's a bigger blast range, so it can make it viable in some content, especially if you get her A3, which we'll definitely talk about later. And then she's got another mode. I said she was that hybrid thing. We have stellar mode. This is launching every 4 basic attacks, turns the next basic attack into a star shower. So I told you stellar mode, this is going to be her typical single target thing. From what I can tell, it's going to be like a comet kind of range, like a 3x3 with a 1 on top. And you can see every 4th basic attacks, the next one's a star shower. What is a star shower? Well, you're going to get 50% damage to one enemy in range 9 times. So do the quick math, it's 450% single target damage, but that's happening every 5th basic attack. That really is something. Obviously, there's a lot more kit here to soup up. I think I'd be remiss if I didn't go straight to the A3 right now. If you guys saw my original video I made with Destined, where we broke down Debbie, who we've now known is Ingrid, this was pretty close to what her A5 was, where the number was vastly reduced, the number of basic attacks it took. They kind of changed it now, and now this became her A3. So this is during Solar Overload and Stellar Overload. More very shortly from now on how to achieve those overload modes. But when you reach the state, which basically if you've left her in single target mode or AoE mode for a while, she'll have built up these kind of points. When she gets to 5, she's in whatever respective overload state. And then all of a sudden, it does not require 4 basic attacks to get the 4 basics, and then the 5th basic is the special one. No, it is 1 basic, then the special thing. 1 basic, the specialist thing. So instead of being 4 basics and then solar flare, or 4 basics and then star shower, it's 1 basic, solar flare, or 1 basic, star shower, obviously dependent on if she's in solar or stellar mode and that kind of thing. So how do we get there? What are these overload modes? Let's quickly go through the kit. So her basic attack, everything with Ingrid is complicated because there's kind of 2 heroes here, right? There's 2 versions of her, so we kind of have to keep breaking down AoE Solar Ingrid and then single target Stellar Ingrid. And if it wasn't clear, the reason I'm saying she's so unique is because you have complete control and you can manually shift between these modes. So when she's in AoE Solar mode, she is going to deal 100% AoE damage 1 time to up to 8 enemies. This can go up to 120% AoE damage 1 time to up to 8 enemies. Pretty strong. And then we've got the Stellar mode, deals 50% damage twice to 1 enemy. And then this goes up to 60% twice to 1 enemy. So again, it is 120% damage total, now spread out over 2 hits. And this is her single target damage. So how do you switch between Stellar mode, Solar mode, respectively, the single target and the AoE? Well, it's from this ultimate over here, which is called Cosmic Shift. Simple as that. It can go down to an incredible, nearly constant, immediate shift of only 100 cost. It's 500 base cost on this thing. You get 100 initial, and with skill ups, this can be 100 cost. So you can switch back and forth as you see fit. Typically, from what I've seen and what I've done, it really seems in most content, you are going to want her in one mode or another, but whenever you do need a switch, it's like kind of always there and instantaneous. That being said, it's going to be rare, I think, that you need this all the way down at 100 cost, but it's pretty nice. It is as simple as this. You click the ultimate and she switches modes. There you have it. You can see it here. When she's in the AoE mode, the solar mode, she's kind of like glowing gold and yellow like the sun. And then she goes to stellar mode, and now it's that classic like purpley glow that is associated with lunar and moon things. So what are the nuances of the kit? We have to talk about Empyrean Tempest, and this is where those overload modes come in. The overload modes, we got a lot of words getting thrown at us, but basically we're building up points, either stellar energy points or solar energy points, and those will lead, once we reach 5 points, to their respective overload states. So triggering a solar flare grants 1 solar energy point, and also triggering a star shower grants 1 stellar energy point. So when you do every 5th attack, the special attack, which for solar mode is the solar flare, and for stellar mode is the star shower, every time you do that, you're gonna get 1 energy point. You can stack it up to 5 energy points. Each solar energy point or stellar energy point increases damage by 3%. So when you're at max stacks, you have a boost of 15%. You can see over here from skill ups, that damage increase can go up another 2%. So each one is 5%. So when you max it out at 5, you got 25% boost. And then we'll talk about the last 2 in a second. But you'll see when you reach 5 solar energy points, so you've triggered the solar flares 5 times. So essentially you've gone through 25 basic attacks. Normally, while you've remained in the solar mode, you now have entered solar overload. So when you are in solar overload, reduces attack interval by 15%, during which the ultimate cannot be used. Solar energy will be cleared when the effect duration ends. So now you're stuck in this mode for sure, but for those 20 seconds, you've got the reduced attack interval, and you're kind of cooking because you've got all those stacks, you've got the increased damage, and then you'll also see over here with level 4, Solar Overlord's attack interval reduction plus 10%. So then when you have that skill up, the level 4 skill up on this passive, it's actually a 25% attack interval reduction. This is her AoE mode, so now she's going even more frequently, lasting for 20 seconds. Very nice. The same kind of thing with the stellar energy points. When you reach 5, you're going to enter Stellar Overload. This straight up increases her attack post deployment by 20%. If you get level 5 on the skill ups, it goes up to a 30% boost. That is crazy, during which, again, you can't trigger the ultimate, so you can't kind of, phase swap, or what do they call it? What was their nice word for it? Cosmic shift, phase shift, mode shift, whatever you want to call it. You can't go back to solar. You're stuck in it, but when you're in there, you got that nice 30% boost. Fantastic. Casting Cosmic Shift will clear all solar energy points and stellar energy points. A key thing here, why do you get locked out and you can't use the ultimate? Well, theoretically, maybe you'd think there's a way you could kind of stack both at the same time. We theory crafted that a bit. They've made that pretty clear. It's not possible now, but still super, super potent. We have 2 more passives here. If it lets me click off and go, there we go. We've got Celestial Wrath. So Celestial Wrath, Solar Flare deals an extra true damage 1 time equal to 100% of the hero's attack to enemies hit. You can get this up a nice bit with skill ups. Each damage dealt by Star Shower, then, so Solar Flare being what happens during solar mode, and now in stellar mode, each damage dealt by Star Shower has a 15% chance of inflicting burning and a 15% chance of inflicting radiant erosion. Pretty likely you can get some of these stacks out, because remember, when she's in that single target stellar mode, Star Shower is going to be her special attack, and it is a non-nuple hitter. I believe I'm saying that right. It is a 9x single target hitter. Now you got 2 really good dots in this. You can see the chances can go up, so we can get your chance to 25%, and the true damage can go up on the solar flare true damage, so that can go to 150%. Very, very nice stuff. We've got her arena mastery here. All of the arbiters and all of the chaotic units get special arena masteries. Increases damage in the arena by 15%. That's lovely. It's not so exciting for me because she's so gosh darn expensive at 25. Could there be a way she works in arena? Absolutely, especially if you're using some kind of cost generator like Cyrene, but 25 is absolutely steep. And then finally, we must not forget, she still is a Watcher Lord, the ancient exclusive Watcher Lord. Her Lord skill, if you don't know, with these legendary Lord skills, the first 2 things are always the same, then the 3rd line changes, so I can show you over here. Watcher's just had a glow up, so she will be the same as Leia for these first 2 bullet points, and then Leia and her will differ on the 3rd. Basically increases faction team members' basic attributes by 15%, completely par for the course for a legendary lord. Then periodically increases faction team members' damage and healing bonus by 50% for 20 seconds. The more faction allies there are on the team, the more frequently it takes effect, so you can chip away at that 20-second cycle if you're bringing more and more Watcher Lords. That is the same as Leia. If you want to know Leia's last bullet, when any faction team member is healed, their damage will increase by 25% for 10 seconds. So that is pretty darn cool, especially since Leia is a healer. Ingrid obviously isn't, so what is Ingrid's last line? Well, after the Lord deals direct damage to an enemy, faction team members deal 20% extra damage to that enemy within 3 seconds. The way I think this goes is when she's dealing aimed damage, not like a big AoE blast. So when she's doing her single target damage, there'll be a 3-second window that any other faction members attacking that same enemy will deal 20% bonus damage. So it's like a 1.2x multiplier. Pretty strong, very boss specific, but it is good. As good a Watcher Lord as Ingrid will be, and she'll make a bunch of Watcher teams viable. I think the most interesting thing is that she's also in Arbiter and synergizes really well over there. You kind of get the picture. I'll give my conclusions in a moment. Let's just finish the awakening. But obviously, she's stupid strong. I have to tell you, she has the highest base attack of any mage in this entire game now by a mile. She has 6,102 base attack. The next highest is going to be Praetus at, I believe, 5,265. So yeah, that's a lot more. It's like almost 900 more base attack. Let's get into those awakenings. We went over Awaken 3, but Awaken 1, now when she's in Stellar mode, deals 20% increased damage to targets inflicted with Radiant Erosion and receives 20% less damage from targets inflicted with Radiant Erosion. So clearly you want to get Radiant Erosion out. She can put out Radiant Erosion. It comes out to a 25% chance on her Star Showers. You can see it over here. That is with skill ups. But you can tell if you really want to take good advantage of the A1, it's probably going to be her specifically in an Arbiter team where you've got people, you know, like Pelagios or like Alistair or like Thallen putting out Radiant Erosion. So that's pretty cool. A2 plus 300 attack. Now you're up at 6,402 base attack. Also, she's going to increase all her faction team members' attack by 5%. This is significant because they're trying to make DPS Watchguard comps a thing, and an extra 5% attack certainly will help. That's going to be the basic attributes. The A3 now, we covered it extensively. The A4, she gets 8% penetration. So for her, this will be, she ignores an additional 8% of all the target's magic resistance. It doesn't matter for her true damage, obviously, that she does from that passive we discussed. But when she's dealing normal damage, it is magic damage. So she's ignoring 8% of magic resistance. And then her A5, Solar Flare, ignores 25% of magic res. So this is going to be her big AoE hit, is now penetrating another additional 25% of the magic resistance, plus this 8% over here. And she's got the true damage that can be triggered. She can just kind of tear through anything. If we ever have big AoE content with tons of mobs and they have super, super high magic res, she'll be even more the best option in the game. Where as it stands right now, she's already going to be the best option. Let me quickly break down Ingrid for you. She is going to be instantly one of the best single target heroes in the game, and I think definitively the best AoE hero. And that's at A0. She's already in the conversation for both of those titles. At A3, when you enter these overloaded states and it's alternating basic attack special things, so basic attack Solar Flare or basic attack Star Shower, every other hit, I mean, she's decidedly, without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt, the best AoE. I think she probably already is the best AoE mage in the game. But then no question she is with that A3, with a big caveat, as long as her one line of range can come into play well. With that A3 though, because it's cycling so much, every other hit, and when it's the Solar Flare, the range widens a bit. It still could be viable even with that wacky range, but certainly anywhere you can take advantage of her straight line range, like her Dahlia range, no doubt. And then single target, she's a rock star, and definitely way up there in the conversation. Combine those two things, and I think you've got a DPS close, if not at the level of Praetus. It is different, but she's such a chameleon. She's so versatile. She can excel in so many things. I think to deny her DPS potential and her DPS abilities is just foolish. I mean, we've got almost undeniably a new Triple S Lord on our tier list. We got to figure out who to take out of there. It might be Soul Cadence. Sorry to that sweet boy. We'll have to see. I'll have to do a lot more testing, but without a doubt, she is ridiculous. On to Thallen, guys. Let's go pretty quick. I've covered him extensively in the past, but he's still an important hero who's extremely strong, who we absolutely do not want to skip over. He's a big AoE magic DPS fighter. You can see he's got a lot of interesting things in his kit, a lot of it based around Gungnir, which is his big spear javelin thing that he throws. It radiates large amounts of AoE magic DPS, all while placing huge amounts of magic res reduction. This can go up to 20%. I believe this makes it the second strongest in the game. Iax can do a 30% one, but 20%. Think of it as like a 20% magic defense break. That's really good. Tons and tons of pulsing AoE damage. And then, as we've gotten more and more new stuff in the game, and like these Arbiter teams, these Praetus teams keep shining and shining and shining, the rest of his kit is just really relevant nonetheless. So he's an absolute god in Gear Raid 4 on the top Gear Dungeon 1. I have a guide on that with a Laurel. You guys can go check that out. He's even better than Valkyra, and he's always been very good in Gear Raid 1. You know, so if you need big AoE magic DPS, he's a great option, especially if you need it from a melee tile. He's the best in the game at AoE magic damage from a floor spot. But then we've got other stuff that's made him better and better. So the magic res reduction, you know, we're having more magic DPS teams, especially single target as well. Like if you think of Guild Boss 2, this is really relevant, a 20% break when you're in those annoying Aegis modes and stuff, and you need to beat things before the timer runs out. That can be super, super strong. Then if we go over here, he can put a nice amount of Radiant Erosion out. So you can see Ruthless Splendor. By the way, if you don't know Radiant Erosion, this is a dot damage over time, continuous true damage based on the target's defense. So content like Guild Boss 2, where there's very high defense, it's going to inflict damage based, true damage based upon that. Every 2 seconds, you can get 3 stacks max. You can see when Thallen receives direct damage from enemies he's blocking, there's a 10% chance to inflict 1 stack of Radiant Erosion. This goes up to 25%. On the damage dealer, so it could be a lot of content like the boss that's hitting him. So I'm thinking like Guild Boss 2 right now. If the enemy is inflicted with Radiant Erosion, dealing damage to them every time will cost 1 stack of Radiant Erosion and deal an extra damage. It's nice to trigger it over and over, especially if you have other sources. So if you're running like a Thallen, an A1 Alistair, and a Praetus, you really start cooking. Cool stuff over there. And then another key thing, guys, he can do stuns. He can really do good stuns if you time it out well. So he throws Gungnir, his little guy, his little sword, javelin, spear thing. If anyone knows what I should call this, please do let me know. And then in the 10 seconds after Gungnir returns, the hero increases his attack by 27%. This goes up to 40%. That's a 40% post-deployment boost. Super strong. And then it can also last for 15 seconds. During that time, every basic attack has a stun on it. So that's, again, very good for phase 1. Phase 1 of Guild Boss 2. He has his Arena Mastery, increased damage. He's a little expensive at 20 for a fighter, but of course you can make him work, especially for like AoE, DPS. You've got an Esotericist Lord or a Praetus. He's really, really good. Solid Awakenings here. 25% chance of not consuming the Radiant Erosion when he triggers that Ruthless Splendor passive. That's really nice because you'd love to keep that up and let those dots continue ticking. Then the A2, nice and simple, plus 15% crit damage. He's already getting that huge post-deployment attack boost when Gungnir returns to him, so a little extra crit damage doesn't hurt. The A3, when Gungnir stays at the target location, it pulls nearby enemies towards it 1 time every 2 seconds. So as it pulses, it kind of has a movement effect, a vortex effect, sucking them towards the spear. Really nice for stalling in content like Gear Raid 1. A4, 8% pen, so for him it's magic damage, so it's a magic res break. He's ignoring 8% of the magic resistance. And then the A5, during the effect of Gungnir's might, all basic attacks will be turned into Luminous Strike. This is where it gets kind of next level. So it's during this passive over here, I kind of glaze over his talent. Basically, each basic attack is a 50% chance of the current rage percentage to turn the basic attack instead into Luminous Strike. Luminous Strike is really big. It's a 240% damage, and those count as basic attacks. So when you get that A5, now during that passive, once Gungnir returns, so with skill ups for 15 seconds, and that's when you have the huge attack bonus post-deployment boost, the 40% boost, in that period, every single basic attack guaranteed. No percentage, no RNG, no nothing. They will all be major Luminous Strikes. So he's fantastic. I rated him top 5 for literally both of his factions, Esotericist and Arbiter. He's fantastically strong. He's even better than Valkyra. He seems to be getting better and better and better with every new piece of content. We've already kind of waxed poetic about Debbie. She truly is a goddess. She's living up to how incredible and badass she looks. A top hero in this game. How high she ascends on our tier lists and stuff like that is TBD, but it is undeniable for sheer DPS and for a very potent kind of attack-driven, DPS-driven Watcher Lord. It is not going to get better than this girl. Basically, should you summon, if you've got Ancients left, I say, why wouldn't you spend them now? The main thing is if you have Thallen and you don't care about the Awakenings, and then if you don't think you need Debbie in your squad, I personally do not think there's a single account in the realm that should not be going for Ingrid. I know I keep calling her Debbie. That's just going to happen until I get it out of my system. We called her Debbie before we knew her name was Ingrid. She will help everyone. She will help the most endgame of endgame accounts. She is that strong. The kit is that busted. She is an incredible Soulstone candidate. I'll tell you, I'm only going to have about 20 or 25 summons. If I'm able to pick her up and I get her, instantaneous. You know, I've been sitting on my 4 Soulstones forever, soon to be 5. I will push her straight to A3. She's fantastic. The only reason not to go for her would be sitting around waiting for like the speculative ancient exclusive Nightmare Lord, who quite frankly does not exist yet. All we can do is imagine what he or she or they might be like. So for me, how do you not go for her? You already know you've got a triple S damage dealer. You probably won't get her anyway. Normal players probably won't get any Lord, so you'll just be building Lord Pity as it stands, and that will get you closer to your Nightmare Lord. I think sitting around waiting on a hope, we've got a bird in the hand right here, is what the vast majority of us should do. I think free to play to big time Kraken spenders alike, use what you're going to use. I mean, obviously your whales and your Krakens, you guys are buying Ancients, and then you'll buy Ancients again on the Nightmare Lord, so it doesn't matter. For everyone else, yes, you can wait around, but nothing is guaranteed. You could be like me and just pull 4 more King Heartses. I say take your bite at the apple. Ingrid is that good, and we're very lucky that she's paired with a super, super strong normal hero and a non-Lord hero in Thallen. Like, imagine if the Ancient Exclusive Nightmare Lord comes and he's paired with Twin Fiend or something. That's going to cut the rates by a huge way. With Debbie, you're looking at probably, I think it's like a 37% chance if you hit Legendary Lord, you will hit her. And I think that is a chance we should all be crossing our fingers and hoping for. Guys, this was a long one, but there was a lot to talk about. I'll be talking a lot more about Ingrid in the coming days. We have a huge polls party tomorrow, a huge one. And then the festivities continue on Sunday when we have not one, but 2 different accounts that are getting their own private streams because each account is pulling over 1,000 ancient summons for Ingrid. It's going to be a wild time. I hope to see you there. I've been Fastidious. If you like my stuff, like it, share with your mother, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.
Fastidious.